Okay, we are live for episode number 7 of Inside the Junior Reign, where we give you an inside look on what goes into the day-to-day of fulfilling our mission of making youth hockey with all of you a life-changing experience for all. My name is Ben Frank. I'm your club president, and with me as always I have our Chief of Hockey Operations here, Paul Esdale, who's got some interesting head attire today that we'll get into in a moment. As always, while you're watching, whether it's live or on the replay, a lot of our viewers are on the replay, please let us know that you're following along. Give us a thumbs up or a hi in the comments section. Give us your questions. We love to get the questions and comments from everyone on a week-to-week basis. We'll make sure we answer your questions either on the show directly or in the comments feed or on future shows. And if you like what you hear, we appreciate you sharing the episode so more people can hear about what we're doing here at the Junior Reign. So, Paul, before I get into today's special topic, what the heck is going on there, and what's on your head today? Why don't you tell everyone about what you're wearing there?
Sure. So we've been, with the Junior Reign here, we're really focused on creating great experiences for kids, and we've had a generous donation from a family that got us 18 matching black hard hats, and we've decorated these with Junior logo on the front, Junior Reign logo, and then we have the We Honor the Game from Positive Coaching Alliance, and then we have an American Development Model sticker on the back, and the Hard Hat Award. So if you
show it real quick, just get a close up. So we got the front logo, the Junior Reign, the PCA Honoring the Game logo sticker, and the ADM American Development Model sticker on the hat. So all of our pillars.
Yeah, the pillars. So really, it stems from, and I know a lot of people do different things, and with hockey and the hockey culture. And you see at the highest levels, the NHL levels, is after every game, they award a player of the game to the team. This year I saw and they use different fun items, right? Yeah. So I saw one team last year used a heavyweight championship belt, or like a wrestling or boxing belt, and you awarded the belt. I think this year the Pittsburgh Penguins are using a Pittsburgh Steelers full football helmet. So I saw even a guy doing an interview with the football helmet on. So a pretty neat thing. So, and they award those, and I've seen some clips of that, and we've kind of tinkered with that over the years and trying to figure out what's best. And we really wanted to find something that's unique to our organization, but also standard within our teams, and understanding that after a game, the coach is going to do a debrief of what's going on, what things to improve on, things they did well, and then kind of give a Player of the Game award. And the idea of coming up with the hard hats and getting them all stickered out, the same was formulated, and then kind of what it signifies. And now we're going to call it the Triple Impact Competitor, and that stems from our PCA Positive Coaching Alliance and those principles there, and how that ties in with the organization. So this is the Triple Impact Competitor Hard Hat Award that will be awarded to. We're going to get these distributed to the teams this week, and hopefully we'll start getting this going starting next weekend.
So each of our Junior Reign teams will be given one of these hard hats with full stickered out here, and it's the Triple Impact Competitor Hard Hat Award for each game. And Paul, tell us a little bit about why did we think this is important? Obviously it's fun. We talked about being fun for the kids. It's something that a lot of pro hockey teams and things do. Why did we identify this as something that we wanted to do with all of our teams in a standard fashion?
I think first of all, we want to make hockey a life-changing experience, so we're creating experiences, we're creating a culture, something for kids to look forward to, a positive thing, and tying it in with the Positive Coaching Alliance and those key principles. So Triple Impact Competitor, what is that? Well, first of all, you're trying to make yourself better. So whatever you're doing in your play, you're trying to improve as a player. Right. Second of all, you're trying to make your teammates better, which is critical in a team sport. Is you're making your teammates better. And thirdly, you're trying to make the game better. Right. So it's not just me. It's improving yourself and your play, right? Improving your teammates' play and improving the game. And that's not just what you do on the ice, right? So if you're a coach and you're awarding this to the player, or you're a player trying to get one of these hard hats for the week, you wear it for the week and hand it back for the next weekend. It's not just the best player who scores the 2 goals or 3 goals and takes a bunch of penalties, right? It's the guy that contributes to those 3 categories: self, teammates, and game, and that has a lot to do with what's going on the bench, on the ice surface, obviously during the play, but when the play stopped, and also in the dressing room, how you treat opponents, how we talk about the roots, right? Respecting the rules, the opponents, the officials, right? Teammate and self, right? Those are the roots, right? So understanding those, understanding the elm tree, mastering of effort, learning, bouncing back from mistakes. Those are all key Positive Coaching Alliance terms. And then that's that big term they talk about is honoring the game and understanding that and understanding the roots, the elm tree, triple impact award, and how it all ties together. And man, if you think about it that way and someone's award that, it's really bigger than just the guy who scored a couple goals.
Yeah, it's a big honor, right? And it's a fun way for us to tie something in that's fun for the kids, something they can look forward to, something that can be some team bonding around. The kids walking out of the locker room wearing the hard hat. Maybe they want to wear it to practice in the locker room. They get to give it out and look forward to next week. But also a way for us to create dialogue in an intentional way every week, where now we have an opportunity for the kids and the parents, everyone to think about, so and so got this award this week because of these types of things, right? And so for us, the way consistently, whether you win the game, you lose the game, you tie the game, you win big or you lose big, there's things that the athletes can do every single game that can win this award through making themselves better, making their teammates better, and making the game better, and how they respond to it, why they're winning, losing, tying, etc., and create some dialogue around it every single week across the whole organization from top to bottom, from the 8Us to the 18 AAAs, really just tying in a major piece of our culture into the weekly, and visual too, something that's actually visual and something that you're thinking about consistently.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I was talking to one of our teams on the weekend about some of the things you see at the higher levels, and I talked about, and a lot of the kids knew because they've been around and watched NHL, is when you walk into a home dressing room in the NHL, nobody steps on the logo, right? That's a big thing, and a lot of the kids know that now at the older ages, right? And the other thing is I learned as a player and as a coach is a jersey should never be on the ground, right? And this ties into that because it's really what it is creating the culture and understanding the respect for the logo on the front and what you're playing for and who you're representing, right? You're not just representing yourself, you're representing your teammates, you're representing the game, you're representing your family, and these are all big things, and sometimes we forget about those because we get so wrapped up in the wins and losses, and we know, right, some days you're going to win, some days you're going to lose, but what can we do in all those circumstances to tie something in that represents our culture and what we believe in? I think this is kind of a nice little addition to what we're doing for players, just one more little thing for them to gravitate to and to strive for and create another experience that they can really enjoy.
Yeah, and one of the thing that we love about Positive Coaching Alliance so much is that, the reason we make it one of our pillars is they do a really great job of taking some complex things and really defining them into actionable steps and things that players and coaches and parents can all relate to, and in certain terms and language that they can really use. So, for example, the triple impact competitor, the name of this award, we talked about already. So it's broken into three simple things that they can do to earn this award. So how big if a player can learn to constantly be focused on making themselves better, making the team better, and making the game better, what does that do for them as a player to help them in their future goals as a player and also as a person, right? There's those three simple things that you can focus on that have huge effects. Paul, you want to go into that maybe a little bit further, maybe even with some specific examples of some of the things that focusing on that will have the players do?
Well, yeah, I think for self, right, it comes down to how do you handle adversity, right? There's lots of ups and downs in a game, and if you're representing yourself the right way and you're able to, they talk a lot about in PCA is about mistake rituals. So something I played hockey, obviously, and I also played competitive tennis for up until I was 19. And there's a lot of the mental side of things there. And we're dealing with young kids here, so they're not just, they're dealing with lots of adversity on the hockey rink. They're growing, they're maturing, they're developing at different rates. So there's a lot of stuff going on. They're becoming teenagers. They got stuff at school. Maybe there's bullies. There's all these situations we talk about with why youth sports is such a great platform. So understanding, that emotional control, I think, is a big one for the self, right? Is the ups and downs of the game, but also, people are looking at you as a player, right? And maybe you're one of the older kids on the team or whatever it is. So understanding that emotional control and, trying to take some leadership and understanding about, little things like being on time, respecting your coaches, listening, how your work ethic, those are life lessons. And that's our job as educators, I like to call ourselves, is that with these little things and with the help of, Positive Coaching Alliance, USA Hockey, it gives us those tools to make some impact in these kids' lives. And guys, it's really more than just hockey, right? We understand that the percentage of kids that are going to play in the NHL is low, right? But we also know everyone has a dream, and we want to support that dream. We want to make sure we get more out of this sport experience than just hockey. We want to get life skills, life development, and use hockey, use that team environment to really focus on some key attributes for kids as they grow into, functioning adults in society. And I think that's really important. And we don't take enough time in that. We've tried to build in new things in our organization, talk about it in our curriculum with the experience, right? Spending time on that stuff. It's critical, right? You talk about the self, teammates, right? How you're interacting with your teammates is critical. And right now, I'm working with some peewees, right? 11, 12 years old, and they're still working through how to properly communicate with teammates, right? We work through, no talking at all, right? And we know with hockey and team sports, you need to talk. Now, how do you talk to a player? How do you get the most out of a teammate without just telling him, hey, that was wrong, this is what you have to do? And there's all these tools that we use, and it's just the platform of youth hockey and youth sport experience. There's all these situations that as coaches and leaders, we have to help guide them along the way. So these are all unique things, and it really is I'm really interested because it's exciting, because I know with my development in my youth hockey career and youth tennis career there was a lot of adversity and a lot of challenges, and then it helped develop what we call is that grit. And that's a lot of stuff I've talked about with the Pee Wee age group this year, is that grit. And there's scientific research on how important grit is. It actually forecasts success for people as they get older.
And I want what you were talking about with, we want to create something that's bigger than hockey for the kids every week, something that's transferable life skills that will help them in hockey, but also help them as humans, as people, as they grow up, in school and in work and dealing with people. The funny thing is, this other side of it is, this will help them become better hockey players too. These habits, right, and these skills. So I just want to come back to, you started talking about this triple impact, right? So the triple impact competitor, this is the award. There's three areas we're looking on. Paul just talked through in depth a lot of those areas. The first one being making themselves better. Paul referred to the work ethic, right? So the player, they're working as hard as they possibly can. Maybe they may be the strongest player on the team, and maybe one of the less experienced players on the team. They have the most goals or the least goals in that game, but the hardest worker on the team. We talked about how they respond to adversity, so their mental toughness, right? When things don't go their way, even if it's not fair, a referee misses a call that definitely was a penalty, and you get back up and you work hard and you still try to make a play, even though instead of complaining to a referee or whatever, right? You make a mistake and you're able to bounce back and work extra hard. And then personal habits, being on time, being prepared, those types of things, right? So making yourself better. And so think about what that habit, if that's a consistent habit of that player every week in and week out, what that does for them as a hockey player and then as a person, right? And then you talked about teammates, right? Making your teammates better. So again, something we can have dialogue with the kids about. How do you make your teammates better? Even if you're right, someone made a mistake, just saying, hey, you suck, that you made a mistake, doesn't make your teammates better. You might be right that they made a mistake.
Right.
Calling them out for it doesn't make them better. So how do I actually make my teammate better? Maybe what they need is, hey man, don't worry about it, we'll get it back. Yep. Or maybe they need to talk about, like, hey, what did you see there? I thought you were open, but then you weren't open, or whatever, and talking about that, and learning how to do that, right? Which is a huge skill. We want to talk about leadership and becoming a captain one day and being a coach one day, those types of things. Did you want to add to that?
I think the coachability part is something that I didn't touch on exactly, but it's coachability with how you listen to your coach, how you respond to your coach, your body language with your coach, with your teammates. So body language is a big thing that we don't talk about a lot. And I correct and guide players on that a lot, because that's something I learned as a player, was that body language it says it all, right? If you know if you make a mistake and go to the bench and hang your head and you're pouting, you know what does that say to the opponents? What does that say to your teammates? What does that say to your coach? Like, are you ready to go? Right? You say you give up a goal, or maybe the game's 10-1, you're losing 10-1. How do you respond to that? How do you handle that? And I remember when I was obviously coaching junior hockey and we were going to recruit and scout. There was good teams and bad teams, and I remember watching some teams where, you know, we were looking at a couple players and they were on the last place team in the league, and people are saying, well, why are you watching that team? Says, well, it's not really the team. We're looking at this player, and now we're looking at how he responds to losing 10-1. What kind of captain, what kind of leader is he in that circumstance, right? Because we know throughout the years we're going to be winning teams, losing teams, and some of the best players are able to handle adverse conditions, right? And some of the guys you look at and say, well, he's a selfish player and he's blaming everyone, screaming at all his teammates. You probably don't want that guy, right? So it's understanding that body language, that coachability with your coaches, but also amongst teammates to teammates. These are those character skills that the higher level organizations are looking for. So when you're trying to make a team, you know, if skating, you know, thinking the game, competing, you know, your puck skills, we talk about 4 keys of a complete player. If all those are similar and you're, you know, head to head with one player and they're very similar, you know, that fifth, that life skill, that character, that's the decider. And sometimes that's even in earlier. And a lot of times it is in a lot of teams. That character weighs a big part of when they bring people into organizations. Think about college hockey. A lot of times you're bringing a player into, you know, a 4-year organization, and if you bring in the wrong type of character, wrong type of fit, and you know, in 4 years, he's probably not going to make it 4 years. So or she, right? So it's a lot of that character, a lot of that leadership skills is really critical for success down the road, not just in hockey, but obviously in life.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, you know, they don't just look at the stats and just say, okay, we're gonna take these players, right? There's a reason why they call their former coaches and they call their teachers and they maybe interview the players and they go and watch them. Like you said, we've talked with coaches before that say that they're watching the players when they're on the bench, not just when they're on the ice. Or Tom, our education advisor, talks a lot about that. They're actually watching the players on the bench. What do they do? What's their body language like when they go back to the bench after something good happens or something bad happens? How do they look at when the coach is talking to them about something? How are they engaged? Are they trying to really listen and learn? Are they engaging positively with their teammates? Are they breaking their stick? You know, that kind of thing as well. And those life skills are actually a big piece of it. We have a commenter here. We don't have our production assistant here, so I want to see here. Sarah Jessica, on point. Thanks, guys. I know Jaden respects you guys as coaches, and it's helped make him a better friend and teammate. So
great.
Awesome.
That's my 8U player out of Riverside.
Yep.
And Jaden's a great kid and a great player, and she's right. He listens really well, and he's developed tremendously over a couple of years of playing. You know, coming from in-house hockey to now being a junior reign member, and that's the power and the impact coaches have. And that's why we have to take our job seriously, and it's important, and that we know that we can have a direct impact in these kids, not just their hockey, but in their lives. And that's why these little things and these tools are important to implement, because that's the differentiator. That's different for organizations than some other organizations. That separates us, that it's more than just hockey.
And an opportunity for us to actually implement something that shows that. We can talk about that. We can put our mission statement and our belief system on the website, but something that shows that we can and a little tool that creates a chance to have a discussion around these things. That creates an opportunity to define, hey kids, parents, this is what we're looking for every game. This is the gold standard. This definition, triple impact competitor. This is what we're looking for. This is going to help the kids become better players, better people, and to have something that we can orient around and then have discussion around. Hey coach, I haven't earned a triple impact competitor award yet. How do I do that? And you can have some discussion around that. And the final piece, the third piece of that was making the game better, right? So why don't we talk a little bit about that? Maybe it's maybe easier to start with. Well, how do you not make the game better? You know, what are some things not to do that we've seen with kids to make the game better?
Yeah, well, I think there's a lot, Rick. I see a lot of times how kids treat the opponents. I think that's a big one. How they treat the referees, right? How they even how they carry themselves, and it ties into self, but also how they show respect towards the game. Of just what we talk about is always, no matter what the score is, you compete as hard as you can, because that's one that's going to make yourself better, make your teams better, but it makes the game better in general, right? And if you show respect for, you know, the officials and the opponents, everyone has a job in this hot youth hockey, right? And without the officials, without the opponents, without your teammates, there's no game, right? And I think that's sometimes we forget and take that for granted, that we deserve this because, you know, we paid our money and we deserve this great game and everyone owes it to us. And I think, you know, looking back on my hockey career, and I shared it a little bit with you know, the group before, was my dad instilled in me that I owed it to the game to work hard and compete hard every day and do it to my fullest potential. And if I failed, I failed. If I lost, I lost. But I showed respect, and I think that's what we want to try to be as an organization, is that we, no matter what we're doing, we do it to our fullest potential. And we, you know, there's ups and downs, there's peaks and valleys, and we know with failure, that comes success, and vice versa, right? But I think showing the respect of everyone that's involved, from the Zamboni driver to the, you know, the fan, to the dad, to the mom, to, you know, dad and mom driving to the 6 a.m. game, to, you know, to getting my homework done. I think it all ties into how important this really can be and how serious you really should take it. But still understanding it's about the kids developing, having fun, getting better, but understanding the seriousness of the platform you have to reach these kids and develop all these lessons of you know, all the life lessons. Some
big things here in respecting the game. Some big life lessons here, right? It's that you mentioned a couple times, no matter what. It's, you know what, a triple impact competitor or junior rank player doesn't try to purposely injure an opponent, no matter what. Yeah. Even if they cheap shotted you, even if they said something that's not right to you. We don't abuse an official, no matter what. We respect that officials make mistakes too. We respect that officials have different levels of experiences too. Doesn't mean we have to be happy about it, but you respect them. And you carry yourself a certain way no matter what, because you respect yourself and you respect the game too much. You appreciate that you have the opportunity to play the game. There's a lot of kids around the world that don't have the opportunity to come and play ice hockey, you know, every day. And that's what we talked about, translating over to life, right? With all these things about appreciating what we have. There's respecting that you said the parents that you brought to the game, respecting the locker room. We're not just going to dump out our Gatorade on the locker room floor and leave all our tape in the middle of the floor, because we respect the game, we respect the opportunity of having facilities, having people that cut the ice and clean up the locker room, so we have an opportunity to do that. That we don't, the fans, right? Even if the fans are yelling bad things, we don't turn around and make gestures at the fans. I mean, no matter what, not just because they deserve it or whatever, that you respect the game and yourself and your team too much to do that and represent yourself that way. And there's some really powerful life habits there.
Yeah, and I think it comes down to gratitude and perspective. I think you know, as I get older, I start to realize that how important perspective is, and putting remembering the big picture of what we're doing, trying to make a life-changing experience for youth hockey and kids, and understanding that, you know, you're not defined by what you do, but who you are. I think that's an important one, not what you do, but who you are. That's a big one that I've learned over the years with my ups and downs of my coaching and playing career. And then having, we talk about gratitude, right? And you just talked about that, and being appreciative of the opportunity, the experience that we all have to be part of the game. And a lot of that tied back to the NHL principles, and the thank you hockey message, right? Is really that gratitude of being able to do this and being part of something special and bigger than yourself, right? And it's at the end of the day, we're here to serve kids and families, to give them a great experience. And being part of hockey is a privilege and an honor, and that's what we want to portray. We want to give that back give the game to the kids and the families, to make sure they have a great experience, and get kids to understand that it is a privilege, and they should try to make the game better and make their teammates better, make themselves better in a healthy way and in a healthy environment, and really appreciate that, and appreciate that, you know, that hard practice they just did, or, you know, understand that picking up the tape after the dressing room practice is over. And those are little details, but those are really meaningful things down the road as you grow as a person, as a player.
Awesome. So we're almost at about half past the hour here. Paul, what are the next steps? What's the rollout plan with these awards?
Yeah, so we'll shoot out a email and we'll get it on our Facebook page of the kind of the definition of what it is and the Triple Impact Award, and then we will distribute to our coaches to get out to our teams, and hopefully by the end of the week every coach will have them in their possession, and we'll hopefully be able to get those awarded out in this upcoming weekend's games.
Great. And if your kid is selected for one of the Hard Hat Awards, don't be shy. Take a picture of them. Tag us on the Facebook. Wear it proud. And looking forward to getting this launched for everybody. And we will see you next Monday. We're back on Mondays at 2 p.m. live here from Riverside Icetown for Inside the Junior Reign. It'll be episode 8 next week. As always, whether you're watching us live, whether you're watching us on the replay, we really appreciate interactions. Even if you just say hi, hey guys, I'm watching. Let us know, and let us know comments or questions that we can address live on the show, and please share as well so we can spread the message of Inside the Junior Reign. Thanks a lot, guys. We'll see you next week.